Hello and welcome back to the Diary of a Nail Sticks Out. I say welcome back, but welcome to anyone who's new. I am Jack Christian, I am the nail who sticks out, and to anyone who's not listened to this podcast before, the gist is that I am a freelance web developer from the UK, but I've moved to Australia and I'm now kind of starting my freelance business from scratch over here, and just kind of documenting the process and give a kind of like behind the scenes look at what that life is like. So what I wanted to talk about this week is about laying foundations essentially, and building for the long term. Because I do get like every week when I record this podcast, I discuss like what I'm trying to do to kind of like get the business off the ground. And so far, like I've got no new clients. All my income is still from UK clients. So it really feels like every week I'm reporting failure. And I think, if it does feel like that, and I don't really like talking about my failings, but like I think it's what I have to remind myself is that it's really just it's a failure from kind of an external point of view. So what I'm going to try a really kind of crap analogy. But if the business I'm trying to get going is a house, I'm laying the foundations at the moment, and I want this to be a business that I can really kind of push hard and grow into something significant in the future, and find a good group of clients that I can service and really benefit their business with the services that I provide. But in order to do that, I think there's a lot of groundwork that I need to do, and I think that's the kind of like. That's the groundwork that I'm laying is the wins that I have to focus on, because if I only focused on the fact that I don't have any new clients, then I would get very, very sad. So that's kind of like the theme of this week is the episode title is Foundations Are Below the Ground, and I think that's an important thing to remember, is that so if I just kind of examine like the stuff that I'm trying to do at the moment, or so there's obviously I'm trying to acquire clients, so I'm doing a lot of like research around the best way to do that, trying different tactics, whether it be through job markets like Upwork and Auslance and Airtasker. I have got work through those platforms before, but I've never found a client that I really like. A client that I really click with. Like the clients that I click with are ones that I kind of have met naturally through referral or through doing work with them previously. That was the main my main network of clients back in the UK. So building that network, if I'm going to replicate that process over here, is going to take time, and I'm going to various networking events and just kind of like getting to know creative people and entrepreneurs around Melbourne, but it takes time. So there's that which takes up a lot of time, so trying to client acquisition. And then other stuff that I'm doing is things around like marketing type stuff, so writing blog posts and doing this podcast and just creating content around my business and the skills that I have, and just kind of developing that side, the storytelling side of the business, so that, because I'm kind of coming to this country, people don't know me, so having these pieces of content, whether it be this podcast or my blog or even the socials, which I'm going to be honest, I really slack on. I don't do much social content in terms of like Instagram or LinkedIn, or I don't really know what's going on with TikTok at the moment. It's been banned in the US, hasn't it? So yeah, I don't really do TikTok. I was considering doing TikTok until I found out that it was going to be banned. Anyway, that's by the by. So yeah, the content creation takes up so much time, and then I've also got client work from the UK. That's what gives me the kind of cash flow I have at the moment. That's what kind of enables me to play a slightly longer game over here. Is because I do have some income from UK clients. Like the plan is to start generating income from Australia so that I can be on the same time zone as my clients. So that takes up lots of time. And then there's other stuff outside of work, whether it be like I'm currently training for a marathon. Anyone who's done that knows it takes up a lot of time. I'm starting a whole new life here, so I've got I've got social things that I'm doing. I spend a lot of time with my partner. Anyone in a relationship knows that takes up a lot of time and effort. So that's kind of like a breakdown of my life. I don't really know if you needed to know all the personal stuff, but anyway, so give you an insight into my life, I guess. But really, all the stuff that's kind of going on at the moment, there's also like a lot of research and education that goes on alongside it as well. Anyway, the point that I was trying to make is that all the stuff that's going on at the moment, whilst it's not it's not kind of like directly creating a stream of clients or a queue of clients ready to work with me. Why I describe them as laying foundations is that they are, as long as I'm kind of like actively pursuing all these different things that go into making a business, then the business is growing. And they may not be visible from the outside. So I don't have like a big client roster or a huge income to kind of like show off that other people can see from the outside. All the wins I'm getting at the moment are only stuff that I can really see. So let's take the client acquisition as an example. I've talked about it many times before, that I'm extremely introverted, and growing up I was incredibly shy and wasn't really able to talk to anyone, at least not whilst I was sober. When I got drunk I was very chatty, but like just in like my first couple of jobs, I really struggled to kind of like talk to people. I was actually fired from my first job for not talking. It was a telesales job and talking is essential, so I was fired because I didn't talk enough to the people on the phone and I wasn't selling anything. I lasted 3 days in that job. Anyway, the point I was trying to make is like there's a lot of kind of habits and behaviours that I have to unpick and So I'm kind of like undoing a lot of stuff that I've kind of grown up with, that shyness, that inability to really talk about myself and sell myself. I'm having to unpick that whilst trying to move in the other direction, where I'm actually want to be able to sell myself and sell my business and sell my services, so that I can actually start to get clients and really help people. So these are the kind of wins that I can see, but maybe from the outside they're not really as visible. Again, like looking at content creation, there's skills there, like again talking about myself on this podcast, telling my story, and then there's copywriting with blog posts, and there's also I like learning to write well-structured articles and essays, trying to integrate SEO into those articles. All these kind of like skills and new skills and ideas that I'm trying to integrate, which when they bed in will be a really powerful combination. But at the moment there's lots of experimentation, there's lots of kind of like missteps and mistakes, and it's all about just constant improvement and iteration. So these are the kind of things that I can see the little wins, but they're not really visible yet. Like I say, foundations are below the ground. I'm still below the ground at the moment, but I feel like with enough time and persistence, eventually I'm going to start building above the ground. And the only limiting factor I have is time. So it's like, assuming I don't drop dead tomorrow, it really comes down to me just sticking at it, staying in the game. Like if I stay in the game long enough and I make enough moves in the right direction, eventually I will reach kind of a threshold where like this stuff that I'm aiming for starts happening, where I find the clients and I get that income. I just have to stay in the game long enough and keep trying to improve, and eventually I'll get there. And I don't know when that will be. It's not a fixed time period, but just generally speaking, like if you're moving in the general right direction for long enough, you're going to start to you're moving in the right direction, and eventually you're going to reach your destination, because the closer if you're moving in the right direction, eventually you're going to see how to get there. That wasn't very well explained, but I hope you understand the premise. Anyway, so yeah, that's really what I wanted to talk about today. It's not a particularly long episode, this one. But yeah, I think I never know whether I need to really like leave any like call to action or finish with some kind of like nice conclusion or learning point in these episodes. Again, this is me just trying to learn how to podcast, I guess. So yeah, I guess that's kind of an explanation of what I'm doing. And I guess for anyone else in a similar situation, this is how I'm approaching it. I don't know if it's the right way, but for me it seems like the safest bet is to try and do as much of the right things as possible. Look at other people that are in a position that I want to get to, find out what they're doing, and try and replicate that myself. I think I'm trying to play the long game. Obviously, there's a tension between the short term and long term. Excuse me. So, things like paying rent, eating, having a social life, especially whilst I'm in a whole new country. Like, I want to be able to experience things whilst I'm here. So there's that short-term need, but I have to balance that with my long-term aspirations, because if I focus too much on the short term, then I'm going to ignore those long-term goals, and I'm just not going to do the stuff that I need to do to get there. And those long-term goals, I hope, will enable me to kind of enjoy the short-term stuff more. So it's like, I guess it's like the, I can't remember the guy's pyramid of needs. I can't remember what the guy's name is. I want to say Pavlov, but it's not Pavlov. He's the one with the dogs. I'm just going to Google that. Sorry. Pyramid of needs. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That's the one. Yeah. So I guess the short term is the base. That's just like staying alive. And then I guess the long term is the top. That's stuff where I'm like, I feel like I'm being of service and I'm finding fulfillment through the work that I do. So I guess there's always tension in that. I think at the moment my rent is being paid. My belly is full and I'm able to have a social life. But yeah, I think, and that ability comes from the client work I'm doing for UK people. But yeah, I guess the Australian version of the business is where I really want to kind of enter that kind of like top end of the pyramid, where I'm feeling more fulfilled by the work that I'm doing, because I'm actually like being of service and being a genuinely useful force in the world. So yeah, I'm laying the foundations to reach that at the moment. And although it may seem like I'm consistently failing to reach these goals from the outside, like I see people on Instagram where they're like, I'm going to build this business in a month and I'm going to document the whole thing, and I'm like, fuck, why are they doing it? Why are they able to do it and I don't, and I'm not? I just have to remember the little wins that I'm making, and then try and like see what they're doing and try and emulate what they're doing. If they're having that success more quickly than me, what are they doing? I try and integrate that. But I mean, we're all kind of like following our own separate paths, I guess. So I'm on mine. And we'll see where we end up. But I mean, I've been doing this podcast. What's this? Episode 7. So that's 7 weeks now. And I mean, I see the progress day to day. I'm hitting every day's targets. Maybe I'm not pushing myself hard enough, fast enough, but we'll see. I think momentum is growing. I feel like I'm moving in the right direction. So I guess it's really just a matter of time before things start happening and I start getting more clients, I guess. So yeah, anyway, that's where I'm at, week 7. I hope you're all having a good week, and yeah, I'll see you for week 8 next time around. Have a good week. Bye bye.